Hello students, today I am going to begin exercise 1.2. So before coming over the exercise, first once again for revision, what do you mean by irrational number? Irrational numbers, already I have told that numbers which cannot be written in this form P upon Q, in which P and Q belongs to integers. Integers means natural number, negative of natural number and zero. Integer means natural number, negative of natural number and zero. P and Q do not have any common factor except one, and Q is not equal to 0. So if any number which cannot be written in this form fulfilling these conditions, then that number will be irrational. Any number which cannot be written in the form P upon Q such that P and Q are integers and having no common factor except 1 and Q is not equal to 0, then that number will be irrational. Then about irrational number, we also know that it has non-terminating and non-repeating decimal which we also call as non-recurring decimal. That is also known as non-recurring decimal. Non-terminating and non-repeating, that is non-recurring decimal. Now there is one more thing about the irrational number. Any number which is the surd is a irrational number. For example, root 16. Whether it is a surd? No, it is not a surd because it can be simplified. When you will simplify, this square root sign will be removed. Therefore, it is not irrational, it is rational. It's clear? But if you write root 17, square root 27, all are surds. This sign cannot be removed. Therefore, it is not a rational number. It is irrational number. Both are irrational. Irrational number are represented by this symbol. It's clear? Cube root 27, whether it is rational or irrational, so this can be simplified. As we know that this equals to 3. Therefore, it is a rational number. It's clear? So that also we will remember. It's clear? Now there are two rules. First, you know what is prime number. Two rules which will be very frequently used in this exercise 1.2. Prime numbers. Any number which have no factor other than 1 and itself. Any number which have no factor other than 1 and itself is known as prime number. The smallest prime number is 2, then 3, 5, 7, 11, 13, 17, 19, 23. So all these and so on are prime numbers. Is clear? So there is a rule of the divisibility by prime numbers. If A is a natural number and P is a prime number, A is a natural number, is clear? And P is a prime number. Now, if A square is divisible by P, then A will also be divisible by P. If square is divisible by p, then a will also be divisible by p. Suppose here one thing I want to tell you, suppose this is written minus 5 upon 6. It is a rational number. If you leave this sign, what will happen? 5 and 6 both are natural. 5 and 6 both are natural. If you ignore the sign for a moment, for example 5 upon minus 6, it's clear. So if you ignore the sign, then 5 upon 6, 5 and 6 both are natural. 5 is a natural number, 6 is also a natural number. And whether it is 6 or minus 6, both will be divisible by 2. It's clear. If 8 is divisible by 2, then minus 8 will also be divisible by 2. It's clear. If 9 is not divisible by 2, then minus 9 will also not be divisible by 2. It's clear. So we don't take sign. So if a square is divisible by p, then a will also be divisible by p. This is one. Then here a is a natural number and p is a prime number. Prime number. What is the meaning of this sign? This sign means belongs to. This sign means belongs to. A belongs to n, p belongs to prime number. It's clear? If a and b are two natural numbers, a and b are two natural numbers, and p is a prime number, if ab is divisible by p, if ab is divisible by p, then either a is divisible by p, a is divisible by p, or b is divisible by p, or a and b both divisible by p. So you remember this. If a and b are two prime numbers and a and b are two natural numbers and p is a prime number, then if ab is divisible by p, then product of two natural numbers is divisible by p. Then either one number will be divisible by p or other number will be divisible by p, or both the numbers will be divisible by p. It's clear. Then after this you can see here exercise 1.2. One more thing we will remember, if we add a rational number and irrational number, if we carry the process of subtraction in between rational number and irrational number, multiplication of rational number with the irrational number, and division of rational number and an irrational number, all are irrational. This is the rule. It's clear. You remember this thing. Where is the cloth? Now you can see here rational number is represented by this symbol. This is rational number, and Q bar is the irrational number. number. So you remember this q plus q bar. It is irrational. It will be irrational. Means if we add a rational with the irrational, result will be irrational. If we subtract q minus q bar or q bar minus q, it is also irrational. Means the subtraction between rational and irrational. Then q into q bar, this is also irrational. And q upon q bar or q bar upon q, this is also irrational. It's clear? Now we will do the questions, so you can see the questions. And here in these questions, method of writing the answers is very important because there are too many statements. It's clear? And the statements are necessary here. It's clear? Here calculation is very small, very less. More is the calculation, the statements, verbal problems you can see. Now you have to prove here. You can see question number 1, 2, 3, 4 all are of same type and similar examples are also given. You have to find root 5 is a irrational number. This you have to prove. How will you do? You can see here. Root 5 is an irrational number. This you have to prove. So we will prove by the method of contradiction. It's clear? Now see here. Suppose if you have to prove that this is a marker pen. So we will assume that it is the piece of chalk. This is the piece of chalk. We will assume that it is a pencil. Means we will assume such a thing which is not it actually. So we have assumed that it is a piece of chalk. And starting from there, we will prove something which is against to the property of the chalk. Starting from there that this is the piece of chalk, we will prove something which is against the property of chalk. And since we have reached at a property which do not belongs to the chalk, therefore our supposition, our assumption is not correct. And it is not correct, therefore what will happen? It will be the opposite of chalk, means it will be the marker. It's clear? So what will you do in the method of contradiction? We will assume that it is not a irrational number, it is a rational number. We will assume it is a rational. And then we will reach at a fact which contradicts to the property of rational number. Means हमको करना क्या है? हम यहाँ method of contradiction apply करेंगे. We will assume that root 5 is a rational number. And starting from there, we will reach at such a fact which is not the property of rational number. So since we have reached at a contradictory fact, therefore our supposition, our assumption is not correct. And since it is not correct, therefore what will be? It will not be a rational number. And if it is not rational, it means it is irrational. Because there are only two types of numbers on the real number line. Either rational or irrational. So see here we will use method of contradiction. So assume, let root 5 is a rational number. This we have assumed that it is a rational number. Therefore, root 5 can be written of this form, P upon Q, where P and Q belongs to integers having no common factor. except 1 and q is not equal to 0. This thing you have to write on squaring. So when we do the square of a square root number, what happens? Square root is removed. Square root is removed. So 5 equals to p square upon q square. So p square equals to 5 into q square. Now you can see here, p square has a permanent factor of 5. P square can be written as 5 times of q square. It has a permanent factor of 5. Which clear? Therefore, p square is divisible by 5. Therefore, this we will take equation 1. Which clear? There will be huge. Therefore, p square is divisible by 5. Now 5 is what type of number? 5 is a prime number. Since 5 is a prime number, so what will happen? Therefore, p will be divisible by 5. And if any number is divisible by 5, it means 5 is the factor of that number. If any number is divisible by 5, then 5 is the factor of that number. Therefore, 5 is factor of p. Here we will write 5 is factor of p. It's clear? This we will take the second equation. It's clear? Now we can write 5, it is p equals to 5 times of m. Because 5 is the factor of p, therefore p can be written as 5 into m. Let p equals to 5 into m. M will be some other number here. So see here, now you can write this side from equation 1, from equation 1. What will you write? P square equals to 5 into q square. It means in place of p you will write 5m whole square equals to 5q square equals to 25m square equals to 5q square. It's clear? It will be cancelled, means 5m square equals to q square. Or you can write q square equals to 5 into m square. Q square equals to 5 into m square. Now applying the same analogy there, same concept you will apply. Here you have written p square is divisible by 5 because p square has a permanent factor 5. So here also q square has a permanent factor of 5. Q square, therefore q square is divisible by 5. Since 5 is a prime number, therefore what will happen? From the rule, q will be divisible by, therefore q will be divisible by 5. Or 5 is factor of q. This we have taken as 2. Now you can see here 3, not 2, it is 3. You can see here 5 is factor of p, 5 is factor of q. Means there is one common factor between p and q. There is one common factor between p and q. It's clear? Therefore, therefore 5 has a common P and Q from 2 and 3. You write down therefore from 2 and 3. It is clear that they have a common factor as 5. Have a common factor as 5. It's clear. But here we have assumed that they have no common factor except 1. Therefore, it is against our assumption. This is against our assumption. Against our assumption. Here we have taken that P and Q have no common factor except 1. And why? Because we have assumed that it is a rational number. It is a rational number. So it is against our assumption. So what will be? What we have assumed? That root 5 is a rational number. We have assumed that root 5 is a rational number. Means it is against to this fact. Means root 5 is not a rational number. Therefore, root 5 is not a rational number. It is an irrational number. Irrational number. Hence proved. So this way we will do. Means we will assume that it is a rational number, and then we will prove something which is against to the property of rational number, which will be the against the property of rational number. And since our assumption will be contradicted, therefore it will not be that number. It will not be a rational number, means it will be an irrational number. We can see another example here. Not example, question here. You can see question number 4. 1 upon root 11. Here there are some questions in the beginning. Example 2, example 3, or example 1 also, which are same as 1, 2, 3. Question number 1, 2, 3 given in the exercise. It's clear. Now you can see here. Prove that 1 upon root 11 is an irrational number. So you can see here, exactly in the same way we will proceed. But you have to write all the statements. If we will apply the rule, if A is a natural number and P is a prime number and A square is divisible by P, then A will also be divisible by P. It's clear? Now see here, you have to prove 1 upon root 11 is an irrational number. This you have to prove. Here also in the same way, let 1 upon root 11 is a rational number. When it is rational, so what you can write? 1 upon root 11 equals to P upon Q, where P and Q belongs to integers having no common factor. Common factor except 1, and Q will not be 0. On squaring, what will be on squaring? So on squaring it will be 1 upon root 11 whole square equals to P upon Q whole square. Means on simplification it will be 1 upon 11. As we know that 1 का square is 1 and root 11 whole square, root will be removed, equals to p square upon q square. So what will you get? Q square equals to 11 into p square. Now you can see here, Q has a permanent factor 11 because Q square is 11 times of p square. So Q square has a permanent factor 11. It's clear. Therefore, Q square is divisible by 11. Now, as we know that 11 is a prime number. 11 is a prime number. Therefore, Q is divisible by 11. Q square is divisible by 11. Therefore, Q is also divisible by 11. That's clear. And Q is divisible by 11. Therefore, 11 is factor of Q. This we can write as 2. This statement we have written as 2. It's clear. Now you can say, let Q equals to 11 into M. So from 1. What will you write? Here Q square equals to 11 into p square. So in place of 11m whole square equals to 11p square. So it is 1 to 1 m square equals to 11p square. So what will be p square? 1 to 1 m square upon 11, that is 11m square. So once again, p square is divisible by 11. The same thing which we have applied here. Therefore, p square is divisible by 11. Therefore, p is also divisible by 11. Why p will be divisible by 11? As 11 is a prime number. It's clear. Therefore, 11 is factor of p. This we can take 3. Now 11 is factor of q, 11 is factor of p. Therefore, p and q from 2 and 3. P and Q has a common factor. 11. But it is opposite to our assumption. This. It contradicts to our assumption. Therefore, 1 upon root 11 is an irrational number. It will be an irrational number. So this way we can do. Now we will do one more question here. Here you can see question number 5, question number 6, question number 7, all are of same type. Their first part I will not do. Hence, so that 3 minus root 2 is an irrational number. In the first part you have to prove root 2 is an irrational number. And then you have to prove 3 minus root 2 is an irrational. Similarly, in question number 6, you have to prove root 3 is a irrational number, and then you have to prove 2 upon 5 into root 3 is an irrational number. So here you can see we will do the question number 5. second part, and question number 6 second part. It's clear? And this time, this year, in the class 9 board examination. Board examination means now council sends the question paper of the annual examination. So, if you see the question paper of Hills School, you will get the very first question that prove that root 2 is a irrational number. Prove that root 2 is a irrational number. It's clear? In the question paper of Hills School. Because in the Hills, exams are conducted in the month of November. In Plain, it was conducted from 10th May and 10th Feb. So you can see here, hence so that 3 minus root 2 is an irrational number. So you assume, let 3 minus root 2 is a rational number. We have assumed that it is a rational number. But now we will not assume it equal to P upon Q. We have assumed equal to R. It's clear? We have assumed it equal to R. It's clear? It is a rational number. Therefore, 3 minus R equals to root 2. Where R belongs to Q. That is, small r is a rational number. Now R you bring in this side, root 2 in that side. On squaring both sides. So see here, when you will square, this is 3 minus root 2. You see once again, yes, I was doing correct. Now all of you see here, you have to prove 3 minus root 2 is a, and I am doing once again. Now you can see here, you have to prove question number 5 second part. 3 minus root 2 is an irrational number. This you have to prove. So we will take let 3 minus root 2 equals to R, where R belongs to rational number. So you bring R in this side, 3 minus R equals to root 2. Now you can see here it is very simple. 3 is a rational number, R is a rational number. So since 3 and R both are rational number, it's clear? Therefore, 3 minus R will be a rational number. 3 minus R will be rational. Therefore, it will be rational. And root 2 is an irrational. This already we have proved in the first part of this question. It's clear? Root 2 is an irrational number, which is proved. It's clear? Because we have proved, therefore we will write this thing. It's clear? Suppose the question is only this, then we will not write which is proved. It's clear? This we know that it is an irrational number. So from here, this equation 1 shows the equality of a rational number with irrational number. Therefore, equation 1 shows equality of a rational number with irrational number. Which is not possible. Which is not possible. This thing is not possible that a rational number is equal to irrational, because they don't have any common number. They don't have any common number. Nothing is common in between rational and irrational. Therefore, equality is not possible. It's clear? Therefore, 3 minus root 2 is not a rational number. Because this we have got from where? From this. Therefore, 3 minus root 2 is an irrational number. It is an irrational number. Now I will do one more question from this. Question number 8, fourth part. Root 2 plus root 5. How will you do that question? Question number 8, fourth part. Root 2 plus root 5 you have to prove irrational. We have to prove that it is an irrational number. So you assume let root 2 plus root 5 is a rational number. And when it is like this, then what will you do? We will not assume P upon Q. We will not assume P upon Q. We will assume, therefore, root 2 plus root 5 equals to small r, where small r is a rational number. Now we will do the square. Here we have not squared because there was only one third. There was only one third. It's clear? But here both are the thirds. We will square. On squaring. Squaring both sides. So when you will square, whole square equals to r square. This square can be opened by using the formula a plus b whole square. Root 2 whole square plus root 5 whole square plus 2 into root 2 into equals to r square. So root 2 whole square, 2 plus 5 plus 2 root 10 equals to r square. So 7 plus 2 root 10 equals to r square. So what will be 2 root 10? R square minus 7. So root 10 equals to upon 2. Now you can see here, right hand side, r square minus 7 upon 2 is a rational number because it is the combination of rational number. R is rational number, therefore r square is rational. 7 is rational, therefore r square minus 7 is rational. 2 is also rational, so this whole thing is a rational. So we will write directly r square minus 7 upon 2 is a rational number, while root 10 is an irrational number. It is an irrational number. So this shows the equality of an irrational number with the rational number. So you write down equation 1. Equation 1 shows the equality of a rational number. You can see here with the irrational number, which is not possible, and this is not possible. Therefore, what will be? That in the beginning what you have taken, root 2 plus root 5 is an irrational number. irrational number. This. It's clear? Now you can do question number 8 also. So that is also very simple. That I will not do. So now this is finished. Tomorrow I will do exercise 1.3. It's clear? The rules of that exercise also, yes, I have to explain. So now you do all the questions of exercise 1.2.